day, good afternoon, good afternoon. Once again, I want to say Happy New Week, Happy New Year to anybody that may be seeing me for the first time. I'm super excited, I'm elated. Um, Everything is to describe how excited I am. So today I'm going to be talking about property demolition in Lagos, and I'm also going to be sharing some things that may um, result to a situation that could warrant property demolition. I've been asked, I've had a lot of inquiries from people in diaspora and then from every real estate investors that I've been following. So sorry, I'm starting a little bit late. I ought to have started way before this time, but I'm just coming from sites. I had to go do some some investigation of some property verification for some of our clients. So that obviously is the reason why I am starting this video very late. So I kind of apologize. So I want to say thank you to everybody that is joining us. In case you are seeing this broadcast, do well to share it with your friends and family. Today we are going to be talking about property demolition in Lagos, Nigeria, and we are going to be discussing some circumstances that may also result to circumstances that can make a property to be due for demolition. So we're going to be talking about why government demolish properties. These are uh, some of the things we need to do. So in case you are joining this broadcast for the first time, do well to share this video, like this video, and then also subscribe to our channel so that you can get important and useful updates like this. I want to say thank you to everybody that is joining us, and for those who are yet to join us, please share this broadcast. I want a lot of people, okay, to be part of this broadcast. So please share. Let's have many people join us. Okay. All right. So let's talk about it. So I'm going to be going straight to the topic. The moment I have 5 people join us online, going straight at it. There's actually no time to waste. I'm very sorry for coming. I'm very sorry for coming late. I had a lot of site engagement. I had a lot of engagement with a lot of real estate diaspora investors and some of our people that have some of our investors. So that's one of the reasons why we're starting. I want to say a very big thank you to everybody. Good afternoon, Cloudy. Hope you are doing well today. Thank you for joining. Do well to just to share this video with your friends, and at the same time, do well to subscribe. Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm glad having you guys online. I don't take this for granted. Thank you for joining. Thank you. So I want to have like 3 more people join us, and of course we'll be connecting to our Facebook, our Instagram very quickly. Instagram and Facebook anyway. So I'll be connecting that very quickly. Thank you very much for that. So let's talk about property demolition. Now, somebody sent me a question last week, during one of my live sessions last week, and the question that was raised basically by that person was that government signed an MOU. So of course I have a topic where I'm going to be talking about the proposed international airport, the MOU that was recently signed by government and every other parastatals. Of course, I'm going to be talking about that in a recorded video very quickly, not today. So I'm going to be looking at that. So the person said, we should not be excited about this proposed Lekki International Airport, that an MOU was also signed with Lagos State government concerning the Fort Mainland Bridge, and I'm going to be talking very quickly about that, and I'm also going to try as much as I can to highlight some of the important things that real estate investor needs to understand. So I'll be looking at that very quickly, but we're going to be looking at the core of the conversation: property demolition in Lagos. What are the basic things that may warrant a property to be demolished by government? This actually is one of the major bone of contention, and we are going to be looking at that very, very quickly. So, but before I go into that, I want to say a very big thank you to everybody that's been following us on our channel. I don't take these for granted. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Now, when we talk about property demolitions, what are the basic things, okay, that every real estate investor needs to understand? At what circumstances or at what level, okay, is government being mandated, okay, to demolish properties? And a lot of people have been asking these questions, and we've not been able, okay, to establish some of these things. And this is due to the fact that we don't have much clarity about some unforeseen circumstances. But today we are going to be looking at that very quickly, and then we are going to also establish that as quick as possible. So let's look at property demolition in Lagos. What are the basic circumstances? What are the basic factors? What do real estate investor needs to understand about Lagos? So I think the first thing we need to talk about, if you talk about property demolition, is that we need to emphasize, okay, on what we call understanding government regulations. Now, a lot of people today do not understand the basic regulations, and one of the reasons why we have unforeseen circumstances, okay, is due to the fact that a lot of real estate investors are not properly educated. Okay, look back kitchen. All right, so a lot of property investors, okay, or property enthusiasts, okay, that invest in Lagos, majority of them don't understand some of these basic facilities or some of this basic knowledge, and it's quite unfortunate, okay, that we have a lot of people go into real estate investments and they don't understand government basic regulations. And I'm going to be sharing quite a lot today, and that is why I need you to share this video with your friends, with your family. If anyone is online, please tell them to be part of this broadcast. This is very, very important, because I need everybody to be part of this important property discussion, real estate in Lagos. Now, a lot of people, someone asked me a question that, when is government going to start the Fort Mainland Bridge project? The person told me that this project, okay, has actually been signed for some time now. And I understand very well that there are some things we need to understand as far as Lagos State is concerned. If the Fort Mainland Bridge project starts now, I need you to understand that over 800 houses have been marked for demolition. And government is fully aware of the fact that a lot of people are beginning to express their displeasure over some certain decisions that some government agencies and government parastatals are taking. When the landmark beach was demolished last year, I can tell you that, in as much as fact that governments don't admit that they are feeling the pressure, I can tell you that they are feeling the pressure. When people come online, okay, to criticize government policy, when people come online, okay, to express their displeasure over some certain circumstances or some certain events, okay, that happens over some situations, government feel these heat, they feel these circumstances, and this is one of the reasons, okay, whereby a lot of things are happening and government pay attention to some of the questions that we have raised. Going forward, buying real estate in Lagos, what are the basic things that we need to understand? What are the safety precautions that we have to put into consideration? What are the basic things, okay, that every property investor must understand? And this is why we're having this discussion today, because one of the reasons why the Fourth Mainland Bridge, okay, has not commenced basically is that the government is trying as much as they can to calculate, okay, the losses and damages that they will incur if they should proceed with the project. Because according to an inside sources, it was discovered that 800 houses will be affected the moment they intend to start that Fourth Mainland Bridge. And the circumstances now basically is due to the fact that presently Lagos is experiencing what we call housing deficit. Okay, I have a video, okay, where I talked extensively on housing deficit in Lagos, Nigeria. Okay, and I'll be releasing the video very soon, okay, maybe next week, where I gave statistics, I gave data, I gave calculations, I talked extensively on some of these circumstances and what every real estate investor needs to understand. So that video will be coming up very quickly. So one of the reasons why the Fourth Mainland Bridge might be on hold is that I believe that the Lagos state government or any federal government or any agency that is in charge of doing that project might have calculated the implications of demolishing over 800,000 houses just to build a bridge. And that is why, okay, the government have intensified the construction of the Lagos Calabar Coastal Road. For some of you, I believe you must have been seeing videos on the Lagos Calabar Coastal Road. You have been seeing videos on the Lekki Epe Expressway, okay? So now the unanswered question is that will Lagos state government still go ahead, okay, with the construction of the Fourth Mainland Bridge? That obviously is a question that I cannot answer at the moment. The only thing I can say basically, okay, is that the construction of the Fourth Mainland Bridge presently is not happening anytime soon. And in a state where there is repeated clear evidences of housing shortage, it is not advisable for government or any of its agency to pull down over 800 houses, because if they do, they are worsening the issue of what? Housing shortage in Lagos, Nigeria. So that is what I believe could be the reason why government have not gone ahead, okay, with the Fourth Mainland Bridge. Whether or not they will go ahead with it, that is a question that I may not be able to answer right now, but I believe government must have calculated the cost. So why will government demolish properties? Now, for some of us that have been following the Epe land saga, for some of us that have been following, I've made a lot of videos talking about what is going on in Epe. I've made a lot of inciting videos explaining some circumstances, and trust me, an updated video is coming soon where I'm going to show you a practical demonstration of how far government have gone and what real estate investors should expect. So, at what stage will a property be licensed for demolition? Number one, when the property override public interest. So at what stage will government be forced, or at what stage will government have no let's say no other alternative than to put down a structure? The first reason is when the property or the project is overriding public interest. So when we say a property is set for demolition because it is overriding public interest, what exactly do we mean by that? Number one, a property override public interest when it is sitting on a drainage canal. I'm going to say it again. A property overrides public interest the moment it is an hindrance to free flow of water. So when a property is sitting on a drainage system, it has override public interest, and that property is liable for what? Demolition. Today, everybody is complaining that whenever it rains in Lagos, okay, there are some circumstances of flooding. In as much as fact that governments are trying everything possible, okay, to control the issue of incessant, okay, flooding in Lagos, Nigeria. So when a property is built on a drainage, when a property is built on a canal, okay, it has override public interest and it will be demolished. That is circumstance number one. Number two, when a property is not observing and following the guided stipulated setbacks that has been drawn either by Lagos state government or by federal government. According to the Minister of Works and Housing, in person of His Excellency David Umai, one of the reasons why the landmark beach was demolished, according to him, was that the beach was sitting on a road alignment. So I had to say that. Now, there have been a lot of argument towards that. A lot of people have said, okay, that is not a justification. A lot of people said the road alignment was actually placed, put in a place. There were a lot of adjustments. A lot of people claim that there were manipulations, but I'm definitely not here, okay, to entertain those arguments. I'm just here, okay, to observe and talk about some of these circumstances. So if you are building, before you start building or before you start your construction, get a town planner or a registered surveyor who can carefully identify the setback. Like, for instance, I don't know if this measurement is still in use by government, but I was told that before you can have or do anything very close to a lagoon, I think it's 30 square meter that must be observed. 30 square meter setback. For ocean, I was told it's 50 square meter setbacks. So there are some setbacks. So we also have setback to the main road, and we also have setback for lagoon, beaches, and other things. So the moment your property is not following the setback, it will be demolished. That's one of the reasons. And one of the point I raised was that perhaps the reason why government have not commenced the construction of the Fourth Mainland Bridge is due to the fact that they may be considering the adequate damages if a bridge will take down over 800 houses. In fact, they've not even given a statistical figure of whether it is 800, whether it's above 800, but they just said it's above 800. So in a state where housing is a challenge, where even the available houses is not sufficient to go around, okay, I believe very well that government will also want to take a second thought before doing that. So that's one of the reasons. Reason number 4, another reason why a property may be demolished is when the property is built on a committed land. Now, what is a committed land? A lot of real estate investors have been asking some of these questions. When you say committed, what do you mean? We don't even we cannot even tell the major differences. Now, a committed land is what we call a government land. I just want to explain it in one of the simplest term I can think of. So if I say a property is committed, I'm saying that government has earmarked that property for future projects. Like, for instance, they may want to build an hospital in the future. They may also want to build like a cinema in the future. Government may have the intention of doing gigantic project in the future. So because of the fact that they may not intend to do it immediately, they will earmark some land and keep it, and of course they will put it as committed acquisition. Now, I've had a lot of circumstances and a lot of scenarios where a lot of people have advised that whether the property is committed or not, acquire it in the first place, and you can now go and perfect your documents. A lot of people have said that, but I have found out that investors fall prey to cheap lies and manipulations of some hungry and desperate local agents. So it does not matter who you know. It does not matter. It does not matter who you have spoken with. In as much as fact that you have encroached on government land, there is no amount of money you want to spend on earth, that property will be forcefully taken away from you by government whenever they need the land. And that's why sometimes a lot of people will say, I've been on this property for close to 10 years, I've been on this property for close to 15 years, 20 years. Why is it that it is when it is developed that government is showing interest? Why is it that when this property is developed, that's when government has asked us to vacate? The truth of the matter is, for the fact that you have been there 10, 15 years, does not justify the fact that the land is free. And most times government don't take over land until when there is a need for it. So the number of years you've used that property is not relevant compared to the fact that whenever there is a need for it, in as much as fact that government have earmarked it for that process, they will take it. So we need to accurately explain these circumstances so that you can have a thorough understanding of how government regulation works, and then you will not fall prey to some of these unfortunate circumstances. So when property is built on committed land, and of course for the recent demolition that happened in Oakville Estate, I did a video on that. I think in the comment section I'll be doing a video. I'll be sharing the video link of that on this comment section, so that people who may not be aware of that may get to see the video. Yes, that happened, I think, early last year. Early last year. A lot of people were a lot of properties were demolished, and the reason why they were demolished is people built on committed land. Of course, there was a time my elder sister in the US wanted to buy, and when she made inquiries, I took my surveyor there, and we started doing some investigations, searching the property. And then we found out that most of the landed properties that we have in this area were committed lands. And it baffles me that people bought without chatting, without doing the verification and the build. It's quite unfortunate because it's not something that is worth celebrating, but these are some of the circumstances and unfortunate situations that may arise because of unforeseen circumstances like that. Now, another reason, okay, reason number 5, why government may demolish your property is when the property is considered as a distressed property. Few weeks ago, I made a video of Lagos state government versus the Jakonde residents. Not all Jakonde residents. I'm talking about those who are residing in the house built by the former governor of Lagos State, in the person of late Lateef Jakonde. So there's a Jakonde house in Lekki, and of course they named that street after him, Jakonde Estate. Now, government sent a notice of evacuation and telling them that property is due for demolitions. Now, most of the residents responded. I have a video. I did a video on it. Responded angrily that they cannot chase them from their house. Some said they've been in the house for 45 years. They've been in the house for 46 years. A lot of people explained their concerns and the likes. And it's quite unfortunate. It's not something that is worth celebration, but we must tell ourselves the truth. And the truth basically is that the moment a building is considered or tagged as a distressed building, that building is not safe for habitation. That means that the building has a lot of what we call errors and defects that can result to building collapse. So that was what Lagos State government saw, and the resident noticed that we don't want another casualty. We don't want a situation whereby they would say a building collapsed and over 30 people died or over 40 people died. In order for us, to prevent that from happening, it is safer from us to evacuate the residents from this building and let us demolish it. Now, there was an alternative residential area, that was provided to these residents, and it was Ikorodu. So government said, okay, fine, we're going to take you away from this dilapidated house to avoid heat from collapsing and having or suffering a lot of casualties. We are going to relocate you guys to Ikorodu. Now, the truth is, the moment where we started noticing building defects, dilapidation, cracks, a lot of things, on the building. Now, when you look at what happened in Jakonde, basically is that the house was weak already. So there's no need to sugarcoat anything. The house was weak. The house was distressed, and the house risked the chances of being collapsed. In front of that house, there was pool of water, and there were evidences that once ever it rains, that house is always flooded. And in a situation whereby we have incessant flooding, poor water control, poor drainage system, those houses cannot last long. And in that video, I was explaining and advising real estate investors that it is very important that if you are buying properties, whether it is houses, whether it is apartment, whatever, it is very important that you have to work with a real estate developer that has control for flooding. You should buy from a house whereby there is adequate preparation for how to channel water when there are cases of rainfall. I said that, and I said it's not just enough for you buying properties. It is very crucial, that whoever you are buying from has a long-time maintenance plan that will put the house in shape for a very long time. Because the truth of the matter is, it does not matter whether you have a C of O on the property. It doesn't matter whether you have a governor's consent on the property. The moment when the building is considered as a distress, the house is due for demolition, and that happens almost immediately. So these are some of the things that a lot of real estate investors need to understand. So it's not just buying the house. You are buying it from someone who has a long-time maintenance plan. How are we going to channel the water? Who is going to, how frequent are we going to respond to maybe damages, water damages? How are we going to respond to electrification? And that's why sometimes I am a fan of, I always agitate for investors to buy a service apartment. Now, a lot of people have complained that the cost of service apartments are very expensive. But you see, I would rather buy a house from someone that has a maintenance unit that will respond to any form of defect or any form of error, whether it is plumbing error, whether it is electrification error, whether it is flooding error. When a property is not well built, defect is bound to happen, and whenever defects happen, that house will definitely attract the interest of government, and then it will be marked for demolition. So that's it. Then of course, if you are building without your necessary documents, now there's a law by government that says that henceforth anyone that is doing any building project in Lagos must secure approval. And I 100% agree to the fact, because on the mainland alone, looking at the Abule Oja, looking at the Ebute Meta axis and some part of Yaba axis in Lagos, just last year alone, we witnessed several building collapse. These are some of the unfortunate circumstances and events that is preventable with our network. Why don't we just go off? All right, welcome back. I apologize for that break in transmission. It was just the network. I'm also quite surprised that happened. Okay, so like I was explaining,